Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. Today we're on the whiteboard explaining a couple of things. We often get the question, how do I combine my mobility training with my strength training or my mobility training with my sport-specific training? And we know that time is scarce and that you don't have the time to do 1 hour of this, 2 hours of that, and 5 hours of this. So there are ways that you can make sure to get the best out of both worlds, your mobility training and your strength or aerobic training or whatever it is that you're doing, even if you're short on time. Okay, so here you can see a couple of or several options that you have. So we want to go into each of them one at a time. First, we have option one, you combine your mobility and your strength training, especially if you're short on time and strength is your main focus, or your gym, or whatever it is. You can also do aerobic training first, you can do your sport-specific training first. So first that, and then you add, like, for example, 30 minutes of mobility training. So if you're in the gym and you're usually training for, let's say, 1.5 hours your strength training, then maybe cut 30 minutes of your strength training and add 30 minutes mobility. So you still have 1 hour of strength. And in 1 hour of strength training, you can still be very efficient and do a lot of things. And then you have still 30 minutes for your mobility training. And you can always dial that down, so 45 minutes of strength and 20 minutes of mobility. The other option is you can always superset your strength and mobility, especially if you're a little bit more advanced when it comes to mobility training and you're not only doing long duration stretches paired with isometrics, but actually doing things like lift-offs and are a little bit more advanced. You can always combine your strength and your mobility training. So for example, you do squats and then afterwards you do passive range holds for knee flexion or something, so you work your hamstring muscle or whatever. And you can also do like a combination of the two. So for example, one day you work on your strength and then you do the basic work, like more long duration stretches paired with isometrics. And then on the other day, you just superset it when you know, okay, I only have 45 minutes, and then you superset every strength exercise with one mobility exercise. And you can choose to either work the same muscle or the antagonist. Then the other one is, if mobility is your main goal, but you want to still maintain a certain level of strength, then work on your mobility first and add some strength work later in, for example, a giant set. So you could do like a giant set here, work 45 minutes or 30 minutes on your mobility and add a giant set of 45 exercises at the end of your session. And then you also have the option to just do different training days or different training sessions. So if you do have the time, you can either say, okay, in the morning I'm doing strength and in the evening I'm doing mobility, or on day 1 I'm doing strength, on day 2 mobility, day 3 strength, and day 4 mobility. So you always have the option to also say, okay, I'm just doing this today and that tomorrow. And again, you can combine all of these and say, okay, day 1 is this, day 2, I'm only doing strength. Day 3, I'm only doing mobility. So these are just a couple of options. And then you have to decide which one works for me, that I can do this for a long, for a long time. So it's not like, okay, 2 months and then I'm done with mobility training. You want to do mobility training for the rest of your life, just as you want to do strength training or aerobic training for the rest of your life. So you got to find a way to make sure that you can combine these things together to get the best out of both worlds. And don't feel like you have to do mobility training in every single session. So if you have 6 training sessions, you don't need to do strength training for 6 sessions. You can do 4 strength sessions, 3 to 4 mobility sessions, 1 to 2 aerobic sessions. If you have 4 training days, just find a way and really think of what is my #1 priority and put that on top, and then look at the other things that you want to be doing without overcomplicating it. So really just set your priorities right, and then really think of, okay, what is it that is really urgent right now? What is really important that I need to be doing? Then choose whichever setup you want to be doing. Do that for a while, and then maybe if you've reached the goal, if that is not your #1 priority, you can always rearrange your training again. So it's not set in stone, and these are just a couple of options that you have.
So guys, to make everything more visual for you, we just make up one example of the first training example Leslie showed you. It's combining strength and mobility work. So first we have 3 strength exercises where we focus on building strength and more training volume to get that legs growing and stronger. So we got some squats, 3 reps of 5 repetitions, so we're working on more strength work here. Then we got some split squats. We're going to do some two sets of 12 repetitions here, so focusing on Bulgarian split squats, unilateral exercises, and some hack squats, whether you can do it with a barbell or you have a hack squat machine. Also 2 sets of 12 reps. So after that, you can focus on mobility work, right? So obviously this is quite short for some people, but for some people, as they only have 45 minutes, for example, in the gym and still want to get their mobility training in, it's just maybe, let's say 25 or between 20 and 30 minutes this work here, and then another 20 to 30 minutes or even less of mobility training here. And this is a small focus on improving your pancake, for example. You can do some pigeon pulls, some pigeon work to open up the piriformis, the main external rotator of your hip, which is very important to release to get a better anterior pelvic tilt, for example. So we're going to open up this one, and we're working on some hip flexors. Most ugliest thing for me, but have to do it, right, to improve our hip flexion and to release our hamstrings. So straddle lifts are so good for that. 3 sets of 10 here. And the last exercise can be really pancake specific. We're going to do a pancake kinetic stretch there for 3 sets of 10 again. You have also the option to do this as a superset. So this would be a combination of example 1 and 2, which Leslie showed you. But it's so easy to work around and to, as Leslie said, don't overcomplicate things. If you really have less time and you can't just do this one, wait, let's say wait 1 minute 30 in between the sets, then do another set of these. You can just do this one, then this without a break in between, and then have a set break, let's say of 1 minute 30 to 2 minute 30 at the end, and you can repeat those after each other, so you save more time but still get your training in. So it's very easy and it's so simple, right? But I know for a lot of people it's not that simple because they're not into strength training that much or mobility training that much, and that's why we also here for you guys. If you need help specifically designing a program that's really tailored to your goals and needs, then just contact us. We're here and there for you to help you in your strength and mobility journey, right? So if you're interested, click your free call in the description below, and yeah, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more videos about mobility and strength training.